Theoden King. Today we are going to explore this legendary character as, after the sad passing recently of Bernard Hill, I thought we had to spend some time looking at the character that he portrayed so well, bringing humanity and depth to Theoden and showcasing a character with unique strengths and weaknesses. So, let's get into it.
Build me an army worthy of Gondor.
First, let's meet Théoden in the Two Towers, the second volume of Tolkien's masterpiece. Théoden, the King of Rohan, has seen better days at this point. Age has taken its toll, and he's become a puppet to his shady advisor, Grima Wormtounge. Unbeknownst to Théoden, Grima is Saruman's spy, working to weaken him with subtle poisons and deceit. This leaves Rohan vulnerable to attacks from orcs and Dunlendings, all orchestrated by Saruman, who's plotting like a true mastermind. But hold on, because things are about to get wild. We'll explore how Théoden breaks free from this treachery and rises to become the hero Rohan desperately needs. So, let's dive into the events that shaped Théoden's journey and see what makes his story so unforgettable. Théoden was born in 2948 of the Third Age to King Thengel of Rohan and Morwen of Lossarnach. Growing up in Gondor, he shared a special bond with his sister, Théoden, among his four siblings. Life wasn't always kind to Théoden. His wife, Ælfhild, died during childbirth in 2978, leaving him to raise their only son, Theodred, alone. Despite this heartbreak, Théoden didn't remarry, dedicating himself to his duties as a father and future king. In 2980, Théoden returned to Rohan with his father Thengel, who soon passed away, leaving Théoden to inherit the throne. By 3002, tragedy struck again when his beloved sister Théoden passed away as well. With her husband already dead, Théoden took in her children, Éomer and Éowyn, raising them as his own. This act of love and responsibility shows the kind of man Théoden was: loyal, caring, and deeply committed to his family. Now, here's where things get interesting. For years, before Gandalf showed up to shake things up a bit, Théoden was under the thumb of Grima Wormtounge. This guy wasn't just whispering bad advice, he was working for Saruman, slowly poisoning Théoden both mentally and physically. By 3014, Théoden's health started to fail. Sure, some of it could have been natural, after all, the average Rohirrim only lived to about 80 years old, but Grima's poisons definitely sped things up. Théoden's ancestor, Aldor the Old, lived to 100, proving that Théoden's decline wasn't just due to old age. With Théoden weakened, Grima sowed discord between him, his son Theodred, and his nephew Éomer. Grima manipulated the troops, leading to chaos just before the Fellowship arrived in Rohan. The riders of Rohan were stretched thin, constantly defending against Saruman's forces. During this turbulent time, Theodred was killed at the First Battle of the Fords of Isen on February 25th, 3019. Theodred died fighting valiantly against Saruman's forces, his death being a massive blow to not just Théoden, but the entire kingdom. This then also left Éomer as the next in line for the throne. Theodred was, after all, a remarkable figure. Born in 2978, he grew up to be a renowned horseman and warrior. He was like a brother to Éomer and Éowyn, sharing a strong bond with them. When Théoden started to fall under Grima's influence, Theodred took charge, leading the defence of Rohan. His death was a critical turning point, driving Théoden into deep despair and leaving Rohan's future hanging by a thread. But just when things seemed darkest, Gandalf arrived at Meduseld. This marked the beginning of a new chapter for Rohan. Gandalf's intervention was a game changer, bringing hope and a chance for redemption to the beleaguered kingdom. Théoden's journey from despair to heroism was about to unfold, showing us that even in the darkest of times, hope can prevail. At the lowest point in his reign, Théoden was a shadow of his former self. aged beyond his years and despondent from the loss of his son and the manipulations of Grima Wormtounge. But everything began to change when Gandalf the White arrived at Medu Seld. Gandalf, having returned as Gandalf the White after his battle with the Balrog, saw through Grima's treachery and was determined to free Théoden from Saruman's influence. Gandalf's dramatic entrance into the Golden Hall of Medu Seld marked that turning point. Despite Grima's protests and attempts to bar his way, Gandalf confronted Théoden directly. "Too long have you sat in shadows and trusted to twisted tales and crooked promptings." This is what Gandalf declared, staff in hand, radiating authority and power. Initially, Théoden resisted, his will weakened and his mind clouded by Grima's influence. But Gandalf persisted, using his staff to dispel the darkness that had taken hold of the king. As the fog lifted from Théoden's mind, his transformation was almost miraculous. The years seemed to fall away from his face and his strength returned. He stood taller, his eyes regaining their sharpness and clarity. With newfound vigour, Théoden cast Grima out of his hall, reclaiming his rightful place as the leader of Rohan. Théoden's first act as the revitalised king was to summon his warriors and prepare for the defence of Rohan. He released Eomer from imprisonment, recognising the loyalty and courage of his nephew. Théoden's gratitude towards Gandalf was profound, and he acknowledged the wizard's wisdom in restoring him to health and clarity. Under Gandalf's guidance, Théoden decided to lead his people to the stronghold of Helm's Deep. This ancient fortress, nestled in the White Mountains, was one of the safest places in Rohan and had withstood many sieges. The journey to Helm's Deep was fraught with danger though, as Saruman's forces were already on the move. Théoden, now fully in command, rode at the head of his people, his spirit unbroken and his resolve steely. The Battle of Helm's Deep would become one of the most pivotal moments in the War of the Ring. Théoden's leadership and bravery would be tested as never before. Upon reaching the fortress, Théoden wasted no time in organising the defences. He rallied the people of Rohan, including women and children who had taken refuge there, instilling in them a sense of hope and determination. As the night fell, Saruman's vast army of Uruk-hai, orcs and Dunlendings descended upon Helm's Deep. The fortress's defence were put to the ultimate test. Théoden, alongside Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli and the men of Rohan, fought valiantly against overwhelming odds. The king's presence on the battlefield was inspiring, despite the seemingly insurmountable enemy forces. Théoden's courage never wavered. In the heat of battle, Théoden demonstrated tactical knowledge that made him worthy of being a king, and spirit that would have made his ancestors proud. When the Deeping War was breached, the situation seemed dire. He prepared for a final, desperate charge.
The horn of Helm Hammerhand shall sound in the deep. One last time.
The following morning, as first light of dawn broke, Théoden led his riders in a thundering charge from the fortress, cutting through the ranks of the enemy. Just when hope seemed lost, Gandalf arrived with Erkenbrand and a contingent of riders from the Westfold, turning the tide of battle. The combined forces of Rohan and their allies defeated Saruman's army, securing a hard-fought victory. Théoden's leadership and bravery at Helm's Deep were instrumental in his triumph, showcasing his transformation from a broken king to a legendary hero. After the battle, Théoden's journey continued as he sought to unite the forces of Middle-earth against the growing threat of Sauron. After the triumphant victory at Helm's Deep, Théoden did not rest. The next crucial step was to confront Saruman, the architect of Rohan's woes. Accompanied by Gandalf, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli and a host of riders, Théoden rode to Isengard. The once formidable fortress had been laid to ruin by the Ents led by Treebeard. The sight of Isengard in shambles was a powerful symbol of the shift in the tide of the war. At Isengard, Théoden encountered Saruman for the first time face to face. Saruman, though trapped in his tower, still tried to exert his influence, attempting to sway Théoden with honeyed words. But Théoden, now clear of mind and resolute, saw through these lies. He rejected Saruman's offers of peace and power, a decision that showcased his newfound strength and clarity. Gandalf, recognizing Saruman's continued threat, broke Saruman's staff, stripping him of much of his power. This act further cemented the downfall of Saruman and marked a significant victory for the free peoples of Middle-earth. Theoden's role in this confrontation was crucial. His presence and steadfastness demonstrated that he was no longer a puppet, but a king ready to lead his people against any foe. With the immediate threat of Saruman neutralized, Theoden turned his attention to the greater peril looming over Middle-earth: Sauron. The beacons of Gondor had been lit, signalling their call for aid. Theoden, honouring the ancient alliance between Rohan and Gondor known as the Oath of Eorl, did not hesitate to answer. He gathered the riders of Rohan, mustering a great army to ride to Gondor's aid. The ride through the mountains and plains of Rohan was arduous, but Theoden's resolve inspired his men to keep going. During this journey, he strengthened his bond with Merry, the hobbit of the Shire who had sworn fealty to him. Theoden's kindness and wisdom shone through as he shared stories with Merry and prepared him for the battles to come. As they approached the fields of Pelennor, Theoden's speech to his riders was, of course, legendary. Arise, arise, riders of Theoden. Foul deeds awake, fire and slaughter. Spears shall be shaken, shields be splintered. A sword day, a red day. Ere the sun rises, ride now, ride now, ride to Gondor. His words ignited the hearts of his men, filling them with courage and determination. The Battle of the Pelennor Fields was one of the largest and most significant battles of the War of the Ring. Theoden led the charge, his presence on the battlefield a beacon of hope and bravery. He fought valiantly, cutting down foes and rallying his men amidst the chaos. Theoden's actions during the battle exemplified his transformation into a heroic leader, unyielding and inspiring. However, even as victory seemed within reach, tragedy struck. Theoden was mortally wounded by the Witch King of Angmar, the leader of the Nazgul. As his horse, Snowmane, fell upon him, Theoden's life ebbed away. Yet, in his final moments, he displayed the grace and dignity of a true king. He spoke to Merry, forgiving him for disobeying orders to stay behind, and expressed his pride in Eowyn, who had fought bravely beside him. With his dying breath, Theoden passed the mantle of leadership to Eomer, his beloved nephew. Theoden's death was a moment of profound sorrow, but also of profound honour. He had reclaimed his legacy, fought valiantly for his people, and died with the dignity and courage that defined his line. Theoden's death marked a significant moment in the War of the Ring. His bravery and leadership had been instrumental in the victory at the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, a turning point in that struggle against Sauron. While Theoden's life ended on the battlefield, his legacy lived on through the actions of those he inspired and the kingdom he saved. After the battle, Theoden's body was taken to Minas Tirith, where he laid in state. The honour given to Theoden by the people of Gondor and Rohan was immense. He was celebrated not only as a king, but as a hero who had given his life for the greater good of Middle-earth. His death was mourned deeply by his people, but it also strengthened their resolve to continue the fight against Sauron. Eomer had succeeded him as the King of Rohan, and had fought valiantly alongside Theoden and was well respected by the Rohirrim. His ascent to the throne ensured continuity and stability in Rohan during the final stages of the war. Eomer's leadership was characterized by the same bravery and honour that Theoden had exemplified, and he continued to uphold the alliance with Gondor. The War of the Ring culminated in the final confrontation at the Battle of the Morannon, also known as the Battle of the Black Gate. Though Theoden did not live to see this ultimate victory, his contributions were felt keenly. The courage of the Riders of Rohan, inspired by their fallen king, played a crucial role in the battles that followed. Following Sauron's defeat and the destruction of the One Ring, Middle-earth entered a time of renewal and rebuilding. Aragorn, now crowned King Elisar of Gondor, honoured the alliances that had been forged during the war. Rohan and Gondor's bond, strengthened through the trials they had faced together, remained unbreakable. Theoden's body was returned to Rohan with great honour. On the journey back, his people sang laments and celebrated his life and deeds. In Rohan, he was laid to rest in a high mound in the Barrowfield, among the kings of old, a place of honour that marked his significance in the history of the kingdom. The burial was attended by many, including Aragorn, who had become a close ally and friend. Éowyn, Théoden's niece, who had fought bravely at the Pelennor Fields and had been instrumental in the defeat of the Witch King, also mourned her uncle deeply. Her heroism in battle was a testament to Theoden's influence and the strength of the House of Eorl. Éowyn's story, like Theoden's, was one of overcoming despair and finding courage in the face of overwhelming odds. In the years that followed, Rohan flourished under Éomer's rule. The scars of war began to heal, and the kingdom was rebuilt stronger than before. Theoden's legacy was not just in the physical rebuilding of Rohan, but also in the spirit of its people. His story was told and retold, a source of inspiration for generations to come. Theoden's life and deeds were immortalized in song and legend. The story of the king who overcame darkness and led his people with honor and courage became a cornerstone in Rohan's cultural heritage. His example of leadership, self-sacrifice, and resilience resonated throughout Middle-earth, a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope and valor could prevail. Theoden's journey from despair to heroism is a powerful narrative within Tolkien's epic. It highlights the themes of redemption, the impact of strong leadership, and the enduring strength of hope. Theoden's transformation under Gandalf's guidance and his ultimate sacrifice exemplify the profound influence one individual can have on the course of history. So there we have it. Theoden's legacy is a testament to the power of courage and resilience. He was a king who faced great adversity, overcame the shadows that threatened to consume him, and emerged as a beacon of hope for his people. His story, woven into the larger tapestry of the War of the Ring, underscores the enduring themes of Tolkien's work and continues to inspire readers and audiences around the world. Theoden reminds us all that no matter how dark the hour grows, it can, in an instant, revert to the sunshine of a summer's day. His journey teaches us that our lives and happiness depend on the strength we find within ourselves and our commitment to doing what must be done for the greater good. And as we conclude this story on Theoden today, it really goes to show what a performance Bernard Hill truly gave when playing this character. You can see the struggles he went through, you could see the great leader beneath him, and it's hard to say anyone could have done it better. So at the end of this video today, I would love for everyone just to take a moment to think about this great actor and truly appreciate what he gave us. And I would also like to take a moment at the end of this video today to give you a quick update on The Guard, the short film that we are creating. Everything is going amazing. We have just shot block 2 and the rest of it should hopefully be shot soon too. As always, it is all the money from our Patreon that is funding this. In essence, it is a no budget production if you consider the large scale of film, but every pound that you give is a massive help to create an incredible story. I'm putting a couple of shots on screen now and some behind the scenes clips to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. So if you would like to help support it a little bit more to help push us over the line, then please check out our Patreon. Every little bit really helps. And with that now, it is time for my question of the day, which is, to honour his life, let me know your favourite moment of Bernard Hill's performance of Theoden in the comment section down below. And now it is time to give a massive thank you to our patrons who continue to support the channel. You are all amazing. And if you have reached the very end of this video with me today and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It would massively help us out. And why not drop a like on the video as well? And with that, all I can say is, thank you for spending just some of your time with me today, and I will see you next time on The Broken Sword.